G'day guys and gals, we're back to Abandoned Plot. For those of you who are unfamiliar, that's this map right here. No special enemies really, this is the hardest enemy in it, although the daily contract does give us some more Gorilla Shield Guards. Which is kind of fun, I guess. Alright. So, as I said, the daily objective is this one right here. And to round out our 8, I'm just going to be using Last Line of Defense, Erosion 2, and Deep Infiltration 2, which is going to slow things right down, so just be aware of that. I do suggest bringing 2 fast redeploys, but that's entirely up to you guys whether you really want to go that far. That said though, Texas and Zimmer both with CL2 are the ones I'm using. You can use 4 stars, that's fine. Null and Liscum, now, you don't have to use Null. Or specifically, you don't need to use a healing defender, you can just use a standard defender, that's fine. Worse, you can use, say, Asbestos if you really want to, who might help a little bit with the shield guards, but again, it's up to you guys. Just use who you're comfortable with. So 2 standard defenders. I like using Liscum on maps with drones because she can help out with them. She is probably my most used defender anyway. A standard healer and an AoE healer. You don't have to use an AoE healer, but I think it makes life easier. I'm using Silence just because of a drone, and I'm also using Telopsis because of her SP regen ability, but you can just as easily use Perfumer, that's fine. Now it's entirely up to you guys who you want to use for these 2 snipers. Obviously, Greythroat and Blue are who I'm using. I do strongly suggest using Blue just because of her arts dot. So I've been doing a lot of encouraging for Blue Poison this entire contingency contract run. I don't think there's really anything you would lean towards as far as snipers go. You can use short range snipers if you like. So like Schwartz is fine. But because there's drones, I would stick towards your regular snipers just because the short range ones won't prioritize drones. I like bringing Laser because you will have shield guards in the mix, which do force you to attack them. So because she has a bouncing attack, it makes life a hell of a lot easier. If you don't have Laser leveled up, just an AoE arts damage dealer is okay. I'm not going to say it'll work just as well, but it's workable. 2 fast redeploys, as I said. If you're feeling super confident, you could just use 1. But it might make your life a little bit difficult depending on which you're using. Namely because I use Silence's drone. I can use Silence's drone to keep one of my fast redeploys alive, so yeah. You'll see what I'm talking about once I get into it. That said though, borrow somebody's Carnelian with skill 3. Because that'll make your life a heck of a lot easier. I'm using my own because I have my own, but as I said in most of the other videos, you need to borrow 5 friend units, or 5 support units, so just borrow a Carnelian off someone. So if this helps out, guys, leave a sub, because that really helps me out at the moment. And let's do this. So because of the deployment point regen, this is going to be fairly tight for the bulk of it. So we're going to deploy our first Vanguard up top. We're going to deploy our second Vanguard down the bottom here. And Blue Poison is going to be our first sniper in. And that's because we want her split shot skill charging up. Now, blue poison will work over Vermeil in this because blue poison's hits 3, Vermeil's hits 2. Next sniper in. And then we're going to use blue poison skill as soon as we can. And that'll help to alleviate the build-up of enemies we've got here. So here comes our first lot of drones. For that, we're going to pop in Carnelian. And what's going to happen is Carnelian will basically slow them all down. You'll notice I'm holding Texas's skill, and that's just because I want to make sure that things die, basically. If I ever get concerned about any of these drones not dying, I'm going to use Texas's skill. So from here, we're going to use red or your fast redeploy to take out this enemy here. Going to pop in Laser, who will start throwing around her little bouncing shots. Which is going to make everybody's life a lot easier. Our AoE sniper first, just because blue poison is just about cactus. So don't worry too much about this particular guy. You may need to use a fast redeploy here against this enemy. Laser skill. Pull out our fast redeploy. This skill, this skill. Our regular healer here facing up. Now, Carnelian will take a hit. Don't worry about that. So, first off, fast redeploy here, once we get the deployment points for it. And pop a drone down in between them. So, Gravel gets healed, and once this wave of drones comes through, pop that skill off. From there, we're going to use our next fast redeploy. And we're going to drop a drone in between all 3 of these. Because what's going to happen is the drone's going to drop on red and damage both of our vanguards. And we're going to use our skill again. Don't worry about this drone, it'll sort itself out. But from here we can start replacing people. So 1 and 2, don't worry about these 2 shield guards moving up, because they will actually stop and wait. Use Project Red to get rid of this guy. Use your other fast redeploy to take care of this enemy. And just leave her there just to make sure that this enemy sort of doesn't go too far. Use laser skill, blue poison skill, just keep using skills to get rid of these shield guards. Now, this is the last wave of drones, I believe. By last wave, I mean literally there's a handful of them, but this is the start of the last wave. So what you're going to do is just wait until this one starts getting attacked by your sniper, and then use the skill. And you may need to drop a drone down just to keep Carnelian alive. I doubt it, but it's there. Use it. And there we go. So it's really tight only because of the deployment points. If you're using 4-star operators, you might find that it's a lot less tight just because you're not squeezing out those extra 1 or 2 points depending on who you're placing down. But it's all fairly okay. Now there are alternatives that you can use. Indigo, for example, you can plot down right in the middle at the back. Let me just open that up. So you can plop down Indigo on this tile and she'll happily attack this big area here. The only problem with using Indigo is that she won't be able to charge, which means that you're not going to get 100% out of her. So it's kind of a trade-off, and she will also focus on other enemies. Yeah, the other thing I could suggest probably is to just pop an AoE. The AoE I mentioned, if you don't have Laser. Pop the AoE Art Stealer here, or even Armia with skill 2 will work, because Armia's skill 2 is just, it doesn't care. So just pop them down in the center here, and it'll pretty much take care of itself. So yeah, those are my little tips. You've got a bit of flexibility as to where you can put things, so keep that one in mind, guys. But other than that, I hope that helps out.